In November of 2023, the Swell Pod took a 10-day journey across 5 states, traveling 3,580 miles with one challenge in mind.
And that challenge was to interview 100 pleasantly rebellious humans to uncover deep truths about what it takes to create something that has never existed before, challenge the status quo, maybe even change the world.
This is the Kiln Road Trip, created and produced by the Swell Pod.
In partnership with Kiln, Moterra Camper Vans, and sponsored by Taurus.
I'm Spencer McKeown.
And I'm Josh Taylor, and together we're the co-hosts of the Swell Pod and your guides on the Kiln Road Trip. Follow along on the journey.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, follow the Swell Pod on social media, and subscribe to your YouTube channel at, you guessed it, the Swell Pod.
This is interview 81 of the Kiln Road Trip, and today we're at Kiln Portland in Oregon talking with Milo Gazzola. Milo is an account manager at Zoom Info, but also happens to be a musician. We actually ran into Milo as we were completing one of the challenges that we were tasked with on the road trip. You see, we had to take a photo with somebody from Portland who was wearing a flannel shirt and a beanie. We found Milo at Kiln Portland. He helped us complete our task, and then we invited him on the podcast. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. We hope you enjoy. Welcome, Milo Gazzola, to the Swell Pod. This is the Kiln Road Trip, where we're on a journey to interview 100 pleasantly rebellious people, and you are one of the 100.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thanks, man. So tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us what you do and some of the things that you're passionate about.
Okay. Milo Gazzola, as we now all know. I live in beautiful Portland, Oregon, born and raised here. What I do is always a hard question to answer because I think a lot of people assume that as an occupational question. So I'll start there. I work at a software development company called Zoom Info, commonly misconstrued as Zoom Video Communications.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an account manager there, but aside from that, that's sort of how I would associate myself with that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
This job pays the bills. I enjoy it enough to keep doing it, but it's not my calling card. So aside from that, in my non-occupational life, I do a lot. I played music, as we just discussed, not mic'd up. Me and my buddy Adrian have a band called the Dirty Surgeons. Working on putting some stuff together. I was sharing that our Achilles heel is that we finish songs to about 85%, and then our ADHD kicks in and we go to the next thing and get distracted. So we're trying to dedicate more time to completing projects. I'm newly an ordained minister. Just officiated my first wedding.
Congratulations. That's cool.
A new what I do thing. Hoping to potentially officiate a few more. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Pretty nerve-wracking, but I think it went well.
A lot is riding
said
on
the
that
married
moment.
couple.
Yeah. So, what do you think it is? So, what instrument do you play?
Guitar, bass.
Guitar and bass.
Sing.
Yeah, same.
Sing.
Oh, sing. Sorry. And who writes the songs?
It's collaborative.
Okay.
Depends on who has the idea. But all of the songs we've written are parsed together between the two of us.
Okay. And when you get to that 80 to 85% mark, what's the next thing? Is it a different song? What's the thing? What's generally the idea that kind of takes you away from that thing that was 85% done?
I think it's a new idea.
It excites you.
We'll put together lyrics, chords, progressions, and then begin to record it when we feel we're at a place where we're happy with those components. But neither of us are, he much more than myself, are very trained at that production piece. So it generally leads to either frustration or boredom or a combination of the two. And then we fall back on the more enjoyable part for the both of us, which is making new music, writing a new song.
Yeah.
And then it's just a feedback loop. So maybe our problem is that we need to just send the music to someone that can produce it for us.
That might do it.
We could be resolving the problem as we speak here.
Yeah. This was good then. Give me an idea of some of the songs, some of the songs, some of the topics.
Yeah. A broad array of topics and subjects. Again, as I don't know what like the PG-13 level. Can we swear here? Is this a swearing?
You can be yourself.
Okay, sweet. Again, as I was sharing pre-mic'd up, we have a song where we're essentially dissecting how ridiculous it is that people, I think primarily in the United States, I don't really think any other culture around the world does this, but how ridiculous it is that Americans are commonly circumcising themselves. I guess in the Jewish religion, it is common to do that. But from what I know, a traditional Jewish circumcision is different from that of what Americans are doing. Not to really dive into foreskin here, but so we have a song about that. And I think that is, while not everything that we sing about, a good example of the randomness that is the songs that we've created.
What else?
It's a lot about, as a lot of music is, unique relationships, love, ladies, confusion, friends, daddy issues.
And do you ever get to the point where you play live rather than record?
We play live with our friends often, but we played a house show at Elise, my partner's home.
Yeah.
Last year, which was super fun. I think something that we would like to do more, especially together. But again, I think, well, no, it has nothing to do with the incompletion of our recording process. Yes, we have, and I think would like to do it with greater frequency because it's something we both care about and are passionate for and towards, but it just comes down to putting it all together.
Yeah.
Would you play in Kiln, kind of a closed group once a month? Is that the type of thing you go, yeah, I'll do that?
Yeah, I think I would be certainly comfortable with that. I think it's something too that like when you rip the Band-Aid off, you realize it's not necessarily like a scary or intimidating thing. It's more just the vulnerability piece. So with that, I think all forms of public speaking come with some aspect of allowing yourself to be vulnerable and allowing yourself to sort of set aside potential moments of judgment for others to judge you. But at the end of the day, that's a very sensational feeling in a lot of ways. Good for the ego to do, good for the soul to do, I believe. So hopefully we can do more of that and find that sensation.
Yeah. What has been, from a musical perspective for you, the most exciting moment?
That's a good question. From a musical perspective, I can't recall a specific aha point, but I mean, for me, I picked up a guitar like 4 years ago. Had never played before, bought one, and just taught myself how to play it. And I think with that process came a ton of aha moments. Like you're like, okay, I know how to play some chords now. Okay, I understand like a scale. Okay, I'm like learning how to sing and play at the same time. Okay, I'm learning like how I can change my voice, and all of those different building blocks have their own aha moments. And then there are additional moments strewn throughout that are like, damn, no, I kind of suck at this or whatever, you know, you have your self-doubt and then you have your self-appreciation. So it's hard to pinpoint one specific thing, but I think in every building block, there has been both wonderful, you know, points of triumph. I think I know what I'm actually kind of doing here. I get this. This makes some sense. And then there's additional moments of, ooh, what was that?
Yeah. I think, there are certain things like music that you can really get something out of it that is really hard to explain. And, you know, whether it's, you know, being able to be that, you know, I don't know, there's something when, you know, different instruments come together, you know, the right song, the right tune, the right lyrics come together. It really is something that worth searching for, you know, and maybe, I don't know, like that 85% is, maybe I'm putting words, you know, but that 85% is just, I don't know, you're trying to get that thing, right? That synergy between all those things, and just, and that studio stuff, that production is maybe, you know, part of that synergy, and it just hasn't been there. But I do think that there's something really special about things like music, right? Do you feel, it's a dumb question, I guess, but I don't know what I'm trying to ask. I think, what have people said about your music? Like when you played at one of those house shows, what do they leave saying?
I think it's just fun music. Like, we're obviously not taking ourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
That's never really an issue I've had in my life. And that is transposed over onto our music. And I think Adrian, my bandmate, would concur and corroborate with that. So I think in general, it's just fun. And another aspect of it, and something that I think both of us are working with and working through, is like, and I'm sure most any musician has had this too, where it's like, as you're playing music, we're obviously taking influence from music we've heard, like, and listened to, but trying to make it your own thing when you're actually putting it together. And so that's something that I've often struggled with, and like differentiating my voice from like musicians that I love. Because I love to play covers of songs. And like, to me, there's like few things more enjoyable than just like sitting on my couch, having a beer, and like ripping some Bob Dylan with no one home, pissing my neighbors off potentially. Sorry, neighbors. But with that, I find myself sometimes too trying to then replicate versus
be your own voice. Create
my own thing. And so like finding my voice, I think, has been something I've been more cognizant of of late.
That's
with that.
And what are you doing to do that? Like, what are you trying to?
One thing that I've been doing, especially of late, is like, be driving, hear a song, fall in love with it, learn how to play it. But when I play it, force myself to play it differently than how it was created by its originator. Whether that's singing it differently, whether it's, you know, plucking the chords versus strumming them. There's 1,000 different ways to do it, but that is a way where I've been testing my originality, if you will.
That's clever. I think that can be applied to a lot of other areas, right? Do it your way. Lean into stuff you like, but don't copycat. I like that.
What was the first thing you picked up? Was it the guitar or the bass?
No, I picked up a ukulele. Picked up a uke first at a family reunion in Duluth, Minnesota.
Okay.
For whatever reason, like 4 of my family members all brought ukuleles. So there were just like ukuleles strewn throughout this house that we were staying in. And it's a very approachable instrument. It's 4
it's tiny
little plastic strings. And it just in general sounds good. So that was the first instrument, besides like playing saxophone in 5th grade and the recorder in 3rd grade, as we do here. And then eventually the ukulele got a little boring, I suppose. Wanted more string, something a little bigger, a little bolder. And the next step up felt like a guitar. So then bought that. Trade Up Music, shout out to Trade Up Music, 47th in Division, Southeast Portland, great music store. And here we are. And then with that too, like in learning chords and the fretboard, you can sort of just pick up playing the bass and things like that, right? So that led to that, and yeah, here we are again.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting. And so we first met at Kiln, you know, while we were on the journey 30 minutes ago, probably. And, you know, we had a challenge, from, one of the people that kind of supports us and listens to the podcast, and, that we had to get a picture with somebody with a flannel shirt wearing a beanie. And we saw you and you had a flannel shirt, and, we had a beanie. So we got the beanie, we came up to you and, you know, got a picture with you, and helped us complete a challenge. And then we got to know you a little bit, and I really appreciated your vibe, you know, your personality. Thought it was, you know, I just, you know, you were kind enough to take that picture with us and then chat with us for a little bit. So, you know, anyway, all that being said, we met at Kiln. And what do you think of Kiln?
Yeah. Well, for a 30-minute relationship,
yes,
I think we're doing pretty good so far.
I think so too.
We've got a decent foundation to go off of here.
We're building.
I appreciate you all approaching me to take the beanie flannel photo. Very Portland photograph. I think Kiln's great. I don't have a ton of experience with cooperative workspaces, if you will. I don't even know if Kiln would acknowledge itself as that, but that's how I'll think of it for now, at least. I think it's a very welcoming space, though. It's cool. It's sort of like a library for work, except for you can be louder, where we're all here for a slightly different reason.
Yeah.
But there's some general themes in why we're here. Library, ideally to get a book, maybe play a computer game, as I've done more frequently at libraries than rent books. But yeah, people are here to work, here to mingle, have a snack, create some community. And I think all those things are generally positive for society as a whole. And if you're a business that's doing that, I can give you a thumbs up.
Before we get into the rest of the episode, we want to thank the partners and sponsors who made the Kiln Road Trip possible. The Kiln Road Trip is brought to you by Kiln. Kiln is a boutique co-working and flex office community with 13 locations in 6 states across the West, dedicated to providing innovative workspaces that empower your team to thrive. Whether you're a solo visionary or an enterprise-level team of up to 100, Kiln transcends being merely a place to work. It's a hub for learning and connecting with like-minded professionals that will make you and your team love where you work.
And if you haven't stepped foot inside a kiln yet, you really need to. On this road trip, we visited every single location, and trust us when we say once you see these beautifully designed spaces, meet the talented team, and connect with fellow members, you won't want to work anywhere else.
Locations include Utah, Colorado, Idaho, Oregon, California, and Arizona. And they're growing too, with multiple locations set to open in 2024.
Yeah, so be sure to check out the Kiln locations nearest you by booking a tour at kiln.com and answer Swell in the question, how did you hear about us? Once you complete the tour, you'll be entered into a competition where you could win a 1-year membership, their club membership at Kiln.
Yep, you heard that. That's kiln.com, book a tour, and be sure to mention Swell in the question, how did you hear about us?
The Kiln Road Trip is also brought to you by Moterra Camper Vans, a luxury camper van rental company for iconic road trips. Their top-of-the-line vans are available at 7 locations located near America's best outdoor adventure destinations. They have consistently earned the highest customer ratings in the industry, making Moterra campervans your gateway to adventure without sacrificing on comfort or service.
That's true, and initially we wanted to take this journey in a 1960s VW bus, but thankfully we found Moterra instead. With 3 van options, we took the Pop Top Classic, which sleeps 4 and is best for those who want to maximize floor space and storage. This was critical for us because it needed to sleep the entire crew, we needed space to edit, and we were traveling with large amounts of equipment, luggage, and, other goodies that we picked up along the way.
And this van took us through all 3,580 miles of the trip. Super comfortable and sweet to drive.
And actually, Moterra offers fully planned itineraries if you'd rather leave the planning to someone else.
Visit gomoterra.com/swell. That's gomoterra.com/swell.
This episode is also brought to you by Taurus. Taurus is leading the charge in home energy storage. Taurus makes it easy to achieve energy independence and a greener tomorrow. The Taurus station provides everything you need to generate clean power, efficiently store electricity, and easily manage your energy use.
And installing a Taurus station offers plenty of benefits, including save money on your electricity bill,
also ensure energy security with backup power during outages,
reduce carbon emissions with renewables.
You can also automate EV charging and HVAC systems with 100% renewables.
And enjoy unrivaled system monitoring and support.
If you like the sound of those benefits, get a quote to build your Taurus station in less than 30 seconds. Super easy at taurus.co. That's TORUS.co. Now, let's get back to the episode.
I like it. That's the first time someone's described Kiln like that.
Yeah.
And I really like the way you've described it, but I actually like the way that you articulate yourself.
Thank you.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
It's interesting because I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
Because you have a voice that's distinct from a lot of people.
Yeah.
I know, you might joke you don't take yourself seriously, or you're just kind of, I don't know, but at least I think you have a voice, and I would be very interested in hearing some of your music.
Yeah.
I know you're only at 85%, but I would be interested in hearing it genuinely.
When we get some 100s, you two will be some of the first to hear the sanded down version.
Cool. Yeah.
Sanded down and polished up
Yeah.
versions.
Yeah. Okay.
But I appreciate that.
For sure.
And when I say, and this isn't to retract, but when I say not take myself too seriously, I think it can sometimes be misconstrued as like, and I was recently interviewing for a job where the interviewer relayed me seemingly not taking the interview very seriously as a negative, or his perception of me not taking this interview seriously as a, kind of a demerit. And I think the common perception of like not taking life too seriously, in maybe like American society, if you will, is someone who doesn't really give a shit or care about what they're doing. And that can absolutely be the case. But I think there's also this beautiful thing of not taking life very seriously, and that like, what it is that we do on a daily basis, it's most of the time not all that serious, whether we take it seriously or not. But I enjoy having that perspective on a lot of things because I think in general it just makes life a little more fun.
Mm-hmm.
You could go to the grocery store and be super serious about what you're doing. Or you could go to the grocery store, go to the bulk candy section, have a couple gummy worms, go talk to the people that are in the butcher shop, talk meat for a little bit, go get a coffee, whatever, get what you need, have a good time there.
Yeah.
Or you could, walk around frumping about,
Grabbing your milk.
throwing paper towels in your shopping cart aggressively,
Yeah.
cutting people off in the lanes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I do know that.
And not to say this is a huge tangent, but not to say that that's what you were saying, but I just like to make that distinction.
I appreciate that distinction. The last question that we like to ask everybody on this podcast is, pleasantly rebellious people, they go out and they, create things that don't exist, create movements, challenge the status quo. What do you think it takes to create something that hasn't existed before?
Just like having your eyes open, not walking through the world looking at your feet or looking at your phone. Look up, have an open mind, take note of things. Don't move too fast. There's no need to rush through shit. You got plenty of time.
Yeah.
But you also don't have a lot of time. So take it easy, take it slow. There's a lot of cool random stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with bits and pieces of that mindset, you can come up with some interesting shit.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Kiln Road Trip. Be sure to follow along on the rest of the journey, and you can do that in 2 ways. 1, subscribe to the podcast, whether you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or maybe even watching on YouTube, and follow along on all of our social media platforms, whether you're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok, at the Swell Pod. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next episode.